Yo, what is up, everybody? I am back yet again solo. I really tried to get a final episode with me and Tom, but unfortunately, he is under the weather now, on top of everything else he's been going through. So now he's under the weather. So he won't be making it. So it's just me. We just have this smiling face again, solo. But for this final episode, I don't really have anything planned, majorly planned. Um, I just figured I'd kind of wrap up the season, wrap up why I started it, when I started it, what to expect for the future, and all that good stuff. So let's just dive right in. So why did I even start this? I originally started it. I wish I could remember what the date was. It was a while ago. It was 20. I want to say 2019. Yeah, yeah, it was 2019. That's right. I always forget that it was right before all that stuff happened. Um, I had wrapped up December 2019 with my final episode of the original iteration of this of Stay Real podcast, where I was just doing it by myself, and it was strictly about health and fitness and things like that. Because again, I mean, if you've been listening, maybe this is the first one you're ever going to hear. I'm a personal trainer. I have my own business, and that's kind of how that started. My name of my business is Realistic Fitness. So, I tried to play on the name a little bit and do a podcast for my business and health and fitness and stuff. And I called it Stay Real because, you should stay real, especially in this day and age. Don't follow the crowd, stay real. But anyway, that's kind of where that came from. And I mean, if season one and season two are dramatically different than each other, dramatically different. So again, season one was purely um, health and fitness, and I would just sit and talk basically about it. It just gave me away. I'm not one to vlog, so I'm not going to write. I'm not going to. I mean, I'm sorry, not vlog, blog. I'm not going to do that. And doing um, Facebook videos and stuff. It's like, you know. I wanted to always do videos, but I didn't, and be able to talk this stuff, and I just didn't know how I wanted to go about it. And then I thought, hey, jump in and doing a podcast, and then I can spew out my information on that. And that's kind of why I started that. Because again, the way I run my business, it's not your typical personal trainer. I am obviously I get people healthy where they lose weight and gain muscle, but I don't work as that as the goal. I get a person where they are to balanced and healthy, and then we go from there. And sometimes that means more muscle. Sometimes that means I want to lose a little more body fat. Maybe I want to get more endurance. I want to be better at this sport, at this hobby, blah 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 blah. So that's a lot of times the way I run my business. And I feel again, that's why I kind of named my business that Realistic Fitness, was because this is realistic fitness. It isn't the crap you're going to see on Instagram, people on gear, people being stupid, bunch of young people being idiots, which, hey, we all have, right? We've all been stupid young people at some point, right? But it's just a shame that a lot of bad information gets out there. A lot of bad information, and it's only based off of charisma and looks. It's definitely not based off knowledge, unfortunately. So, I wanted to try to combat that a little bit with my business because, again, I grew up, I was a fat kid. Okay. I grew up, Italian family again. I was a very heavy kid. I was over 200 in grammar school. Um, but then when I hit high school, I dieted, but the wrong way. I basically starved myself and worked out in my basement, like most young guys do. If you don't have someone guiding you, you do that. Um, And then thank goodness, I had a cousin that was into lifting, and I'd been going to the gyms for years. and knew all the bodybuilders, knew all the power, knew everyone at the gym. So I got introduced and I knew everybody and I felt comfortable and I learned from all those people. And I learned that way of exercising. And I watched these people. And it was amazing that I got to experience that. I really feel blessed because not many young guys get that experience. Okay. They don't. They learn from social media or a friend that definitely doesn't know what they're doing, but thinks they do. Or maybe a parent trying to help them out, but maybe they don't know all that well, unless they're a trainer or somebody that's gone to a trainer that knows what they're doing or it's done all the research, whatever. So that's why I wanted to be on different social media because I wanted to try to combat that because I have a 14-year-old son, okay, and they don't always do what you want them to do, So, but you still got to be supportive and leave that door open all the time. My hope is one day my son will come to me and say, Dad, I want to start working out with you. That would be fantastic, but I will never force. I will always guide. I will always suggest. I will always show by example, but I will never force. Forcing never does anything. That's why I don't like long stretches. That's too much force on a muscle for too long. I don't like too much force. There's always resistance. Easing in is always better with anything. And I've noticed that through my experience and for myself, being very stubborn and working with very stubborn people a lot of times. You have to ease in. Getting angry doesn't do anything. Getting frustrated doesn't do anything. You just keep researching and you be realistic. That's what you do. So that's kind of why, again, I'm sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there, but that's why I started my business. That's why I, in turn, started the podcast to get that information out there. I don't mind talking. I do pretty good as long as I have a subject. I don't have a problem talking about it. I don't have to have like a big script and stuff. And, sometimes, you run out of things to say. Sure, I'm only human, but when it comes to health and fitness, if you listen to Get Real, I've never been at a loss for words during that segment because it's important to me. Okay. And I've seen people I love suffer because they didn't have the knowledge and I didn't have the knowledge at the time, or they choose not to listen to me to help them. And I just wish it would become more mainstream because, again, I didn't recreate the wheel, people. I've researched a lot of smarter people than me, and I've put it together in a way that I feel people can understand it better. And it's easier to follow. That's all I did. Sure, I've come up with some new ways of doing what they've come up with. Sure, I'll give myself that. But I didn't reinvent the wheel here. So, but a lot of that shit is hard to understand. And that's kind of why I've tried to dumb it down. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but just made it simpler for people to understand. So again, after 2019, all that stuff happened and I didn't come back. And again, you would think with everybody home, that would be the prime time, hindsight. But at the time, I was worried about a lot of things. My business was collapsing, because of the shutdowns and stuff. I was blessed in ways because I don't work out of a brick and mortar place. So I didn't lose everything. Like I didn't have all these investments and stuff. But it took a toll on me and my spirit. It was tough. It was a tough time. And I'm preaching to the choir. You all went through shit during that time. But that's why I didn't think of it at the time. Luckily, I was able to come out the other end of it and start to build up my business again. And when I was doing it, and look, I don't know if you know this about me. Sure, you see me talking on this. You see me post a lot. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like social media. I really don't. I really don't. I like talking to people. I like engaging with people. I like talking about things I feel strong about and I know about. But I don't need everybody to know everything I do in my life every minute. That's just not me. And God bless. I'm not knocking you if you do. God bless you. That's not me though. I do my thing. I throw it out there sometimes, but I do my own thing. So I don't I don't really care about all that stuff. That's why if you're friends with me and you're on my personal accounts, aside from sharing from my business or from this, I don't really post anything. I really don't because it's just not me. And I don't go looking on there for hours. I get lost in like weird stuff on Facebook, like weird videos of weird things or like just weird stuff. That's where I go off on social media. And I'll tell you, that's the stuff that comes to the top anyway. I hardly even see friends and stuff, their stuff, a lot of times because it's all the other crazy stuff I follow. And I don't sit on there for hours. Like I said, I don't like it. I really don't. So I thought when I was coming back, so I didn't do social media at all really during that time. You can go back on my business page and stuff and see. I didn't really post during that. So, but I knew I had to come back. It's an unfortunate evil in the world that I need as a business owner. So I have to do it. And so I did it. But I did a spin this time, and I used to do on my business page, I used to do trivia, like 80s and 90s trivia of old movies and stuff. What was this movie? Could you tell me this? Blah, blah, blah. And I got followers and stuff just from that. And I really enjoyed doing that. Because, dude, I love fitness and I'm all about helping people, but I have other interests too. There's a lot of other things I like. I'm a Libra. I balance my life. That's me. I'm in balance. I try. And I like to do other things too, even video games. I'm an avid gamer. I game almost every day, but I don't game for hours. Because I also like to watch shows. I also have to do all the social media stuff and all that. So I like balance. So I was throwing up some different stuff on my page at that time just to spice it up. And I got unfortunately I got more interaction from that than the really good information I was giving. But I figured, hey, maybe I could bring the horses to the water. I can't make them drink, but maybe I could at least bring them there, right? So whatever brings them there, maybe they'll see this other stuff and maybe it'll click for them or someone they know or whatever. And maybe then it'll get out to more people. So I was doing that for a while, and then I was like, I wanted to start the podcast again, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to come back and just do me talking again or what. And that's when I thought, man, I really, because whenever I'm talking to a friend or I'm around people, I play really good with a co-host. I really do. So I was like, I want a co-host with me, someone that would play off of me and have similar interests in me and would know things that most of the things I know as far as like the pop culture and stuff. And that's when I asked my buddy Tom if he'd do it with me. And now he has no computer knowledge really. He doesn't know anything. I'm running all the show as far as that goes. But all I needed him to do was show up and be able to show his pretty mug on the video, and I would do the rest. And thank God for StreamYard and all that stuff, where it makes people like me, who's not super computer literate, able to do things. I'm a learner with some things. Other things, it's too much. There's only so much data I can store up here without erasing some more. I'm sorry, I don't have an infinite terabyte brain. I don't think anyone does, really. But especially when you start getting older. I mean, it's a big 5-0 next year, 2024, the big 5-0, man. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that subject, but I think I look all right for 50. I look damn good for 50. Anyway, so long story short, he agreed, and we did our first episode. Now, what I wanted to do with that was I wanted a little bit of everything. Again, even me, I won't listen to an hour-long fitness podcast. Dude. That's not it. That's not what I want. I was like, I want a mixture. I want someone to come and just be entertained and learn some stuff. That's what I want. That's what Stay Real is. Come, learn a thing or two, and have a good time. That's what it is. Okay? Also, me and him having our own jobs, me having my business, him being in the medical field, we both have businesses. He's also a single dad. He has kids. He's busy. I have a son and a business as well and a wife. So you know, we don't have all the time in the world. And me again, like I just said, I balance myself. So I knew we were only going to be able to do this once a week. Okay, like I knew we weren't going to be able to do 2 or a daily episode or anything like that. Was never going to happen. It would be a one and done, one a week. Sit down and do it, and that would just work. And it wouldn't make it where it was too hectic with and muscle in on any of the other stuff we were doing. So we wouldn't stress out. We wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be able to get some stuff out and have some fun with a friend that lives across the country from me that I don't get to see. That we used to be up each other's butt 4 times a week when I lived there. So, it gives us a chance to hang out. So, so we did the first episode, and I knew if I had segments in the show that I would be able to put the podcast out to many different people with different interests that might come and find us entertaining. Not to mention, it's almost like it's 3 different shows. You know what I'm saying? So each one is like about 20 minutes, 15 to 25 minutes. We get carried away sometimes, but each segment's about 15 to 25 minutes, right? Give or take. That's usually an episode of something on a daily basis. When somebody's doing a daily podcast or something, they're doing 45, 30. So it's almost like I was able to have 3 shows in one and just spread it out during the week, through social media, Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, all the other podcast apps, all that. So one day filming, one show, technically 3 segments, 3 different mini shows. So that's kind of why I do it that way. And then my mini show about fitness, which is Get Real, could now be content for my business as well. You see what I'm saying? So I'm making content for my business in a way that I'm not just sitting in front of like I do those sometimes. I do those where I just sit down and talk, but that's not all I wanted to do was sit down and talk. I wanted to have banter with someone. I wanted to have other opinions. My goal for this was to at some point bring guests on and stuff too. Once we got enough followers and subscribers, excuse me. But I'll be honest with you. Again, we have other things going on. I'm not going to go through all that when not many people are watching yet. And I'm a realist. I'm not butthurt by any of that. It takes time. And again, that's why I do. If you go on our Instagram, that's why I do those funny movie memes. Number one, because so many young people I talk to don't have any clue about good cinema from 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And we're going to lose that. It's going to be forgotten about. And that's like our heritage. Like what do like cultures do? They pass down stories. Okay, well, our version of that is movies and books and TV and stuff like that. And we're going to lose that. That's our history. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. That's your history. You never forget it, or you're doomed to repeat it. There's so much truth in that. So much truth. But yeah, that's kind of why I did all that. So there is a history of my business, the podcast kind of, and all the way up until now. So we banged out 20-something episodes, 22 episodes together. 22 episodes, a couple of best ofs in there. And I wanted to wrap the season up at 25. And then, as you know, if you've been listening, all this stuff happened and we weren't able to do it that way. So that's why I was able to get us to 24 for 2024. I was able to do it for bullshit effect. With the greatest of 2023, which, again, we started this July, right before 4th of July. So actually the end of June. I believe the last week in June is when we filmed the first 2 episodes. So it's been 6 months we've been doing this, and nobody starts off doing it right. It took me months to just get into a groove. And I almost feel like we're kind of in a groove now, but unfortunately, we need to take a little break with the podcast. Not so much with content. We'll still be putting some stuff up there, and I'll get to that. But just for what you know as the podcast, we'll be stopping for a bit. So there won't be that long form content of that hour to an hour and a half show with 3 segments, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to have that. Number one, again, because I have to do some schooling as a trainer. I have to re-up my certification every couple of years, so it's that time. And I really want to be concentrating on that a little bit more because I do like to learn. While I'm forced to do it anyway, I would like to learn too. So, and the beginning of the year, give Tom a little break. As you can see, he's been through hell, so it kind of worked out where let the guy have some time off. But what I'm hoping to do in the interim is I don't know if you watched the last week. That was kind of a test. I did kind of a review on a movie on Wonka, which again, if you watched the earlier episodes, we did a whole episode on all the Wonkas and talked about the new one. Then I went and saw it, so I felt I wanted to talk about it after I saw it. So, but maybe we'll do things like that. Maybe it'll be a movie review. Maybe we'll just talk about an old movie or something or whatever. We're talking maybe a 10, 20-minute little show, episode, content, whatever you want to call it. We'll still have that stuff go up here and there. I'll still be making my memes if you follow us on the Instagram page. I still have a bunch of old behind-the-scenes content that I could pull some stuff from. I mean, a lot of it's boring. It's us just talking, but there's some gems in there where it's just hilarious. I have posted one a couple episodes back. But I do have that. And, I might pop on solo and do some things. And I'm going to allow him, I'll let him know he can do that too if he wants. If he wants to jump on and make a 15-minute video, 10-minute video, and I'll throw it up on the page. I'll throw it up on everything. But as far as on Spotify, there's going to be nothing new on there for a bit until the new season starts. But on Rumble, I think I'm going to, because Rumble, we used to just throw up some clips in the actual podcast. Because there's no shorts and stuff like that. On shorts and reels, we've been throwing up like crazy. But I won't do that as much with, you can't do that on Spotify. So there won't be anything up there, but I'm going to start throwing up these little 10-minute shows up on Rumble as well. So it'll be on Rumble, YouTube. Also, Instagram. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Instagram. So Instagram, Rumble, and YouTube is where we will put up this interim content until the podcast starts again. Now, as far as when that starts again, I want to say February. I want to take all of January off. When in February, I will update you in the future. I'm not sure about that yet either. But again, you might get me and Tom on here bullcrapping for 10 minutes about something, 15 minutes that, you might still get that stuff. But there will be no long-form podcast until February. Now, when it does come back, will it be every week? I'm unsure of that as well at this point. I feel minimum twice a month. But the hope is to come back once a week again with episodes. Because I feel like that was the most fun for us too. Again, we don't have millions of subscribers. I don't expect comments down in this. I don't expect any of that. But I feel, again, I'm going to complete what I started, and I'm going to stay consistent, and I'm going to kind of finish this whole thing up. So that's the goal. That's the goal for what we're going to do until it starts. That's the goal for around when it's going to start and kind of how it's going to go. And then as far as what it's going to be, it's going to kind of be the same thing because I think it's been a lot of fun. I think the news stuff is fun. I think there's always going to be the fitness stuff. There's always stuff I want to talk about in there. And the middle is always up for debate. You know, we were always different things in there: movie reviews, uh, commercials, old stuff, new stuff, weird stuff, whatever. That middle part is always open for something. I like that because you're not stuck. You have like the bookends you can count on: the news and the fitness. But what you have on the sandwich, you can change, so you don't get bored of the same sandwich. I like that. But that's kind of where all that's at. That's kind of what is going to go down. And anybody who's started to follow us, even if it was just for the memes and the movie references on Instagram, or if you really think we're funny and enjoy our content, I appreciate you and thank you. I hope we can continue to have you come here and have a few laughs and learn a few things in 2024. That is the goal. And I really enjoy doing it. It's not even work for me. It's like a break. Just me and my buddy hanging out and talking about stuff. And to be honest with you, what we do, we used to just do on the phone. Anyway, we just figured it was so funny that we wanted to just do it on camera and make other people enjoy it too. Because most people who would be around us would have a good time. So we're like, well, let's try it. And again, I don't expect to be I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not. But I think if we're having a good time and maybe a few people want to have a good time with us, then it's worth it to me. And it's really worth it if somebody learns something from the fitness stuff or gets the information to somebody that needs it, or they contact me and I help them. Because I do work online, not just in the, because when I created what I do and how I do it, I wanted to make sure there was no barriers for people to be able to do it, whether age, location, their financial status, any of that stuff wouldn't be an issue. They'd still be able to, how the speed it would progress may change depending on those factors. But if you can succeed, doesn't. As long as you stay consistent with the right information. So that alone is worth it for me. And even if 5 years from now, somebody gets that information and it helps them, it was worth it for me. Even if I never made $1 off this channel or anything, it'd be worth it. Because I think we need to fight some of the bad info on fitness and health out there for our young people. If that next generation is going to be all right. There is some bad information out there and a lot of people trying to make some money. So I really, really hope that this all gets out to some people. So there you go. I guess this was kind of like a state of the union or whatever, state of the podcast, we'll call it, from me. But yeah, my original plan today was Tom was going to come on and we were going to just have a good time, maybe do a few news stories. I wasn't even going to worry about the fitness for this one episode, and we were going to talk about the new year and our hopes and our dreams and all that, and just have a good time, and whatever came of it, came of it. But at least we'd be able to close it out together. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Maybe when Tom feels better, we'll have him maybe give his thoughts on the podcast and his hopes and dreams for the new year in a little video, and I'll post it on all the stuff. That's up to him. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody, and you know what to do. If you haven't, please like, share, subscribe, follow. Whatever the thing is you need to do on the thing, do it, please. We have merch. We have all those things. It's all in the bio and on our Instagram. You'll find everything there, even for my business. You'll find all the links there. Please Check it out. I hope you enjoyed. My hope for the new year, my business continues to grow. This podcast continues to grow. My family's happy and healthy. And everybody takes a minute to laugh. That's my hope for 2024. There's plenty to make you sad. There's plenty to make you angry. Take that time. Find something to make you laugh. And I'm telling you, you'll be better. So listen, again, no quote from me. That's my boys' thing. But I say this. This is a couple days after the new year. I'm still going to say Happy New Year 2024. Let's do it. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Go to Harris, I'm telling you, better. Bye. Go to Harris, I'm telling you, better.
See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Harris, I'm telling you.